Alright, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I've been thinking about this live stream a lot. I know it's like, dang, you doing Genshin videos back to back? I know, but at the very same time, it kind of is what it is. There's a lot of stuff here that is worth discussing. Yesterday's video was more just like my reaction to everything and what I was currently thinking. Now I kind of want to have a few thoughts about the story itself and its theories, right? Because why the hell else, would I make another video so soon? But it's mainly due to the fact that now with, a lot of the story that has been told, it kind of brought some ideas to the forefront for me that I didn't really realize until one, this whole live stream, and then two, my brother playing the first moment where you got to meet Lamine for the first time in the game, and then you realize, oh shit, it's not really that simple as it is, and she also called out Dane for being a bitch. But you get the dang point though. After watching that cutscene again and listening to Lamine's words, or at least the Abyss Sibling words, I'll use Lamine for the Abyss Sibling for this video, even though she's my queen. But still, nonetheless, yo, I was like, I can't believe it took me this long to realize what the hell she did. So, obviously, 5.7 is not holding anything back. They're basically gonna just straight up have a bunch of space, a bunch of time, a bunch of elements of concepts that really shouldn't be, I guess, like touched in any shape and form, but somehow it is in this world, and it's gonna be a hell of a time. One thing I do have to bring up immediately is the fact that this damn Abyss Sibling time traveled. She somehow time traveled, and it didn't click for me until, again, I watched that quest again, where she literally made a statement being like, something along the lines of like, I've already traveled this world once before, and just basically it's like, once you reach the end of your travel, you'll understand the truth of the world. And once I heard that, I was like, oh, this bitch, I now understand this now. She somehow, okay, she's done this before, obviously, but what is the method of time travel? Well, how do we go about that? Well, lots of people in the streets been saying, oh, it's the Lumaf Fate that's been time traveling, but that's not the case, nor would that make any sort of sense. Granted, we don't know what the Lumaf Fate is doing, we don't know what it can do, we know it does stuff with ley lines, but that's really about it. It's not gonna do, I don't think it's really gonna be touching on things of the concept of time, maybe, or maybe it could, who knows, but the main thing that we have seen for time travel, at least the one time it really did happen, was when Scaramouche was helping out with Irminsul, and then he took advantage of Irminsul itself to try to rewrite history only for him to fail. Yes, so I'm going to assume, and this is probably what the whole Vision in Kale's future was kind of teasing towards, I assume this is why Dottore burns the damn tree. I assume, because at first, initially, when you hear, oh yeah, Irminsul's tree is going to get burnt the hell up like a chicken nugget, you're kind of just like, wait, why would you do that? That's literally going to F up the entire world, because obviously, like, all the memories and data that is stored within that damn tree is the reason why Teyvat is the way it is right now. Hell, the ley lines will be absolutely chopped and screwed, chopped and screwed if, Dottore burns that damn tree. But now it kind of feels like we need to, right? Now we kind of feel like it needs to, because if the Traveler can just, or at least the Abyss Sibling can just straight up go back in time and influence some stuff, because in some shape or form, stuff has been influenced, even if the world itself, doesn't necessarily completely change. It definitely does some influencing at some points in time. Maybe they used it for that damn reason alone, and hell, they're using it now because, or at least at some point in time, because they need to meet up with our Traveler for whatever reason, and maybe that's the reason why she's doing what she's doing, because at the end of the whole day, the reason why she's kind of feeling this way, as far as we know, if you play again that whole quest with the whole thing with Dane's first identification came up, essentially she says she's traveled through this world once before, and ultimately knows how the outcome of this story will go, especially if we were to go ahead and see what happens. we know how this story will also go as well, right? So maybe even when it comes down to something like time travel, which we seen Scaramouche do, it's useless. She can't change the world because it's already been set like that, So even something as powerful as Irminsul does not have the power to actually change stuff within time in a major sort of way. There's no way to prevent the crash of Conria 500 years ago, even with the method of time travel. So why not make something new? And that's where I assume the Lumaf Fate will just come in and do some crazy nonsense to change the world of Teyvat forever. I assume that's what they're going to try to do, because why the hell not? Why wouldn't that be the case, right? If the world itself doesn't give you anything what you want, why not make it so that you just change the world with something new that the world never had in the first damn place? And that's again where the Lumaf Fate comes in. So it's more so like, I don't know, it's more like the damn meme of a canon event. That's kind of what it feels like, trying to change something up by one single canon event to kind of wreck everything else that has happened, so make sure there's no guarantees. This shit kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or at least Remake, when it comes down to the end game of that, where you have to destroy the Whispers of Fate to kind of take things off course. That's what I feel like the Lumaf Fate is supposed to try to do. Weave in the ley lines so it changes what the hell is written in Teyvat's code to make things not go the same way over and over and over again. Because you gotta also realize, because she traversed this world once, possibly multiple times, she's tried possibly everything she could have tried. And so when it comes down to it, maybe the Lumaf Fate is what she thought, yeah, this is the only way to fix shit. This is the only way to do stuff, because if we don't have this one damn object to fix up anything, then we're kind of cooked and we're gonna be looking like OG Kush. That's essentially what we have here. So that's possibly what has to happen here. Now, why is it so important for her to meet up with, the Traveler of all people? Maybe it's to kind of give them that skip ahead to kind of, figure out what's going on, or something else entirely. I'm not fully sure. There could be a very good guess as to why it's happening, but I'm not necessarily too damn sure when it comes down to it. But we'll have to see when the damn quests come out, on the 18th and whatever. But with that being said, this also brings up a few things as well. For starters, the Hexon Circle. Now you're probably wondering, what the hell does the Hexon Circle have to do with anything? Well, in the Scaramouche mission, once you finished it, at the very end, there was a whole moment where one of the Hexon Circle chicks came through and basically talked to the Traveler and know that yes, the damn world has changed in some shape and form. Someone used some time travel elements and they are fully aware of that case, which means if we're gonna be real, if we ever wanted information from our sister in any shape and form, it was never going to come from the Archon's hands. It was only going to come towards literally the Hexon Circle. We should have asked them first before we asked, the Archons. But granted, not like we knew anything about the Hexon Circle whatsoever. We just kind of see them every now and again, and that's just kind of how it is. Hell, they're more mysterious than the Archons at this point. At this point, the Archons just kind of feel like whatever at this point. They kind of just feel like upgraded humans. That's what it feels like. But ultimately, the Hexon Circle, now that's a mischievous bunch. Hell, if we're gonna be honest, they feel so damn mischievous at times that they feel like they could also kind of one-shot the damn Archons if they feel like it, because that's how much hype and character has been built up over those damn characters for so damn long. And considering that Alice is very much looking like a playable snack soon, I expect nothing less. So the Hexon Circle, let's just assume straight up that they obviously know that this world is looping in some shape and form. But my question is, if they know, why did they not do anything? Why did they not say anything? Right? Have they gone through the loop themselves? Do they know how to stop the loop? Is that just how it is? Because they obviously seem like, or at least as far as we know, it kind of just feels like more so they kind of maybe have a good idea that maybe the Lumaf Fate is a thing, and they could also very much just be like, yeah, let's just see how this shit kind of turns out. Who knows? It could be exciting just because we're crazy ass people. I don't know. I assume they should know what the Lumaf Fate is or be keeping track of it, considering they are all powerful as I don't know what, more powerful than the Archons. At least that's what it feels like. Also, poor Dane in all this, I suppose. Like, Dane out here literally trying to, stop the Abyss in some shape or form. And now that we have a wider scope of literally all the problems that is arising, there is literally no shot Dane himself could do all this stuff alone. Literally, there is no damn way. Like, you gotta realize the Fatui is already, on the wildest type timing ever. Then you also gotta realize how big the army that is following the damn Abyss Sibling as well, as in just the Abyss itself too, with the Wild Hunt now coming into play and all that sort of stuff, and the Hexon Circle themselves being hella powerful, and then we also got like the damn 5 Centers of Condria. It's a lot of damn people. It's a lot of damn people, and I understand why Na'Cry is absolutely necessary for the story to, converge everything, because there is no way Genshin goes into its endgame with all these damn factions coming through, no one getting a shred of an answer as to why everything is happening, and then we go to Sinaj and then just try to go into the endgame. Like, that doesn't work. That's not possible. Also, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I don't think Skirk is gonna meet Dane in the story quest either. I think they have their own separate quests, so to keep very much a stack, that honestly makes a lot of sense, but that also is a bit saddening that we don't get to see that type of interaction play out. But granted, if it were to play out, I assume they're gonna fight on sight and just absolutely want to kill each other, because obviously one's trained by the one of the damn sinners that Dane is out here trying to kill, and who knows how the hell Skirk feels about any of this shit whatsoever, and most likely they will come to blows because they don't like certain factions and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of wild and nonsense, but makes sense why they don't meet. It's kind of like Zhongli and Neuvillette. Yeah, you don't want to put them in the same room together because things will go down and it's not going to be a fun time for either person. But you know what though? This all brings up an interesting question in my mind. At least I haven't really seen anybody ask this sort of question, and maybe I'm just wrong, but why is the Abyss Sibling trying so hard to save Conria if they're not originally from this world? Like, can we be real? I feel like that's a question no one has really asked yet. Because, like, yeah, I get it. These people, a lot of them didn't necessarily deserve what happened to them. There are some assholes that did, but still, a lot of people, they didn't really deserve all that stuff. And ultimately, it's just kind of like, but why though? If you're not from this world, and yes, you're trapped by the heavenly principles and, the sustainer of heavenly principles, obviously. But if it's not necessarily, trying to get out of here, trying to dip out this world with your, sibling and kind of dip off, why are you trying so hard to save Conrians? I don't understand that, right? Does she consider Conria to be her actual home? Is that what the case in point of everything is? Have us, the traveler, forgotten something because of the Irminsul time travel nonsense? Have we forgotten something that the Abyss Sibling knows, and that's just ultimately how it is and why things happen the way it did? Again, there's plenty of things here that we just don't know. I don't know. I guess this question kind of prompted up to me because I was thinking about the Insavat and her hair, and I was really thinking, well, the Insavat came from their home planet, right? And so it's also here in Teyvat somewhere. And it's like, how does that work? Well, why do two different planets have, the same flower in biology to a point? Well, why is that the case? Right? Like, it's not surprising that, humans exist in different places and whatever, but it's like, what is the case? Or is we humans, is the characters that we've been dealing with the entire time real, fully blown, true human beings, or is they something else? Who also really knows? I'm not really sure. Again, there's plenty of questions that still need answers, and hopefully we'll get those answers, within these coming 2 regions of hopefully Snezhnaya, after Na'Cry, because if they push it back again, that's kind of wild, and I'm pretty sure that will hurt the game. But still, nonetheless, there's just a lot of questions that we just do not have answers to. And that's just kind of where we kind of at, honestly, right? Hell, we still don't even know things like what Paimon actually is, which if you've seen the trailer, you also saw like a weird looking figure that kind of resembles Paimon with the damn cape in the back and the thing above her head and all that sort of stuff, and about the same size as Paimon. So is that also Paimon, just in a spirit form, a corporeal form, or however the hell you say that word, or whatever the hell? Very much it could be, and I feel like it is. Plus, once again, in these really major scenes, Paimon is not there. Why is she not there? I don't know. But it's jarring as shit, and it can't just be something unexplained. It gotta be a story reason as to why. So, where the hell is Paimon? I don't really know. But that's just a whole nother question to add to this whole ass puzzle. And then also too, the new Conrian chick, who is she? Why is she, also existing at the very same time? Is she just another form of Lumine or something like that, or the sibling, the equivalent to the sibling of the Abyss or whatever, right? Or because like I remember watching Cat with Blue Hat this morning, and they pointed out every time that she's there, she's like looking away from the Abyss sibling, and it's like, is that supposed to be some type of like, I don't know, correlation between the two characters? Is that supposed to be like the, I don't know, the innocence of that person before the, eventual Abyss nonsense? Who really knows? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on. And that's just how it is. And then I guess another question to really just add to all this stuff too. Obviously, we know that the Conrians turned into, the Abyss people, and also at the same time, the people of Conria that wasn't really born there got turned into Hilichurls and whatever. But my question is also, why specifically for Conrians, why specifically turn into Abyss creatures? Does this mean that the Heavenly Principle is also from the Abyss too? Is that just how it is? Are they somehow unioned in it, right? Because if regular people like Skirk and possibly, Dainsleif can just use it like that, then I assume the Heavenly Principles could also probably use some elements of it too. And that's just kind of how it is, since it's him for doing that, for the reason why, things went down to Conria as it did, and all that sort of stuff too. So, I don't know. There's a lot to really sit here and think about, A lot of questions I did not think of really expecting to question, honestly. Because it's like, alright, Abyss comes from the Wild Hunts, and that's going to be a thing soon. So it's like, alright, did they fight the Wild Hunt? Is there something related to, the Heavenly Principles in the Wild Hunt? Maybe the second who came did something with the Descenders and whatever? I don't know. It's a very weird thing. And if I'm correct, I might be wrong. I feel like I heard this before, but I believe the second who came also beat the shit out of the Heavenly Principles or something like that, and which is why people had to kind of like chill off of the whole damn Savat stuff, and that's why the 500 years of resting is kind of happening, and their sleep is hard as hell, and Divine Thrones got smashed and all that stuff and shit. They just constantly ignoring all the damn while, because clearly the Shades don't give a shit. The Shades would have been done something if they actually saw what was going on to that, but they most likely do, but they probably don't really care that damn hard, because like if we saw someone like Renova pop through and was getting all crazy and whatever, I'm pretty certain one of the Shades would come through and do something, right? You would think the sustainer of Heavenly Principles would kind of come through and do something and keep that will of the Principles up, but she doesn't do anything either, right? No matter the Divine Throne being destroyed, no matter if it's literally like, what else was it? Oh, Albedo recently making a new human body and whatever. Like, it's a little weird. It's a little weird and it's a little wild. Hell, that just kind of been their whole stick the entire time. Hell, we don't even get to go to Celestia yet, and I'm wondering when the hell is that day gonna arrive? When is that gonna happen? It gotta happen at some point in time in the near future, because it's like, there's a lot of stuff that the Heavenly Principles have to ask for, have to really ask and answer for, and we still don't have any clue as to where all this shit is leading up to. Again, this stuff is very much the most interesting questions and the most interesting stuff that we have gotten in Genshin so far, and I'm really here for it. I assume Skirk is also going to just straight up tell us, if not the damn Archon quest is going to tell us exactly what Sabat should be or what it is or all the secrecy and stuff like that. I assume we're going to get way more answers than we ever expected when it comes down to these two quests. But we'll have to see just again how all of this stuff goes. I really just wanted to sit here and theorize and speculate a lot of stuff because this is a lot to kind of really think about, right? Making me really think about questions I haven't thought of ever and really haven't put my brain to use for. So this is all just interesting. This is all just very interesting. I'm just super hyped up and amped to kind of see where the hell is all this gonna lead to, right? So that's just how it is for me. But ultimately, hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's me, Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed day.